Hello and welcome to Create Crochet with me, Rebecca. In today's video we're going to make this cover for masonry jars. Now this can be used to put flowers in or a candle and light outside on a summer's evening. So the things that you're going to need is yarn of your choice. Now I'm using a yarn that looks slightly like garden string. You can use whatever you like. I'm going to be using a smaller hook than what is required for the actual yarn, and the hook I'm using is a size 4mm or a US J6. I am going to be using the American terms for my stitches, so that's worth making a note of, and some scissors just to snip off any ends, and a yarn needle to weave in any of those loose ends. You'll also obviously need a masonry jar to do this. So let's get on and make. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to start with the base here. So let's just move that to one side. And how we do that is we are going to chain up 4. Actually, we might chain 5. So we're going to make a slip knot. So with the small end in your left hand, you're going to flip it over to make a loop. With the long end that's attached to your ball of yarn, you bring it through and pull on that small end. Pull on the long end to shorten your loop. So let's go chain 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now I am going to make this bigger because I do want that definite circle in the middle. Now you want the circle in the middle so you know where to position your cozy or your cover. So I'm actually going to crochet 6 chains just to give me that definite circle. It looks like that. I'm going to come to the first chain and I'm going to slip knot. And the way we do that is we put our hook in. We're going to go yarn over and bring through these 2 loops on our hook. Now this yarn is really slippery to work with. It's beautiful when it works, but it's really slippery to work with. So from here we're going to chain 3, and that counts as our first double crochet. So now we're going to make 9 more, so there'll be 10 double crochets in total. So we're going to go through this middle circle here, yarn over, through the circle, catch up your yarn and bring up, yarn over, take off 2, yarn over, take off 2. Yarn over our hook to give us 2 loops, right into the middle of that circle, catch a loop up, so we have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, come through 1, yarn over, come through like that. As I'm going round, I have the circle of my chain here and I have my tail end here, and I'm just resting that down on there so that when I do my double crochet into my ring, I'm laying the tail end flat, so that in a second I will trim off the end and it's just an end that I don't need to weave in at the end of the work. So now I'm going to snip it off. So I'm just going to catch that end up, moving everything else out of the way, and snip it off. And that makes that bit nice and neat. Now we're going to count our bars of our double crochets so we know where we've got to. So that's the 3 chain counts as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So we've got 4 more to do. Seven, 8, 9 and 10. Now you'll notice that I have this gap here, but we actually want it in a circle. So what I'm going to do now is going to slip stitch to the third chain. So that's 1, 2, and then the top of this 3 chain. Now because I'm using the wrong size hook for this yarn, my crochet is not going to lie flat. But if you look at my my masonry jars start off circular, but then they actually go into a square shape, which is why I want my work to not lie as flat as this here. Your work, when we've completed the bottom, may well lie flat. That's absolutely fine. That's spot on if it does. So this is what I mean. I've made almost like a bowl shape. So because I've slip stitched there, it has kind of brought the work around, but to just really make sure that that is in a circle, I'm just going to push my stitches and make sure that it is in the round, and I have no gaps. So now we're going to chain 3, which again counts as our first double crochet, and we're going to put 2 double crochet in each of the previous round. So we're going to go back into where our chain has just come out of, which is just there, and that's our 2 double crochet in that previous stitch, and then 2 in the next one. That's 1, and then back into that same place there, and moving on to the next stitch. So that's 1 in there, and then we're going to go back in here, and by doing 2 double crochets, excuse me, 2 double crochets in the previous round stitch, we are doing an increase. So go ahead and do that all the way around. That's the next one there. That's the next one. Go ahead and go all the way around, and at the end of this round you should have a total of 20 double crochet. So that's these bars here that you're going to be counting. And I'll see you in a minute. So I've just done my last 2 in here, and I can tell I've done my last 2 because I have absolutely no more crochet stitches to do, and I do have the correct number. And then again we're going to slip stitch into the third chain that we made. So that's 1, 2, and then into here for 3. Pull the yarn through and through, and then straight away chain 3. 1, 2, and 3, which counts as our first double crochet. So in this round we're going to do more or less the same as what we did in the previous round. So 2 double crochet into the same, 1 more double crochet into the same place that this chain has come from. So into there to give us our increase. Into the next one we're going to do a single. In there. And then into this one we're going to do our double. My phone's going off in silent. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, it vibrating away. So that's our double. So we're going to alternate between a double, which is our increase, and then a single. So this one is a single, and then this one is our double. And by saying double, I mean put 2 double crochets into the previous round stitch. Sorry, just sorting out my yarn. So this one is a single. So this one is a double. Now, depending on how big your masonry jar is and how big you want this to come up your jar is entirely up to you. But a little word of advice, when we come to do this actual main body part, it's in multiples of 8. So however big you want this base section, it's absolutely fine. Tailor make it to your own needs. but make sure that at the end of your last round, before we start this, it goes round in multiples of 8. So that's just a word of advice there. So that was a single, so we've done one in here already, so let's do another one for the double, and then a single, and then a double, and we're going to go all the way around, alternating between singles and doubles. So you go ahead and do that, please, and then I will meet you around this end. So I've come all the way around, and I have 30 stitches for that round, and now I'm going to slip stitch to the third chain that we made. So that's 1, 2, and then the top one is here, and I'm going to slip stitch as before to complete the round. Now it's at this point that you want to check the size on your masonry jar. So that's a little bit too small, so I'm going to go ahead and do the next round of the increases. So chain 3, which counts as your first double crochet. Sorry, my hands were going slightly off camera there. And then, same as always, we're going to double crochet into the same space that the chain has just come from. So with this round, we're going to do an increase, and then a single crochet once, a single double crochet, because a single crochet is actually a stitch. So a double crochet in there, and then one double crochet into the next one, and then 2 in the next one for the increase. So that's 1 and 2. Now again, I'm going to reiterate the fact that this pattern here is multiples of 8. So this is going to be my last round of this pattern here. So I know that at the end of this round I'm going to have 40 stitches, which is not multiples of 8. So when I go round, I'm going to count out 8, and then I'm going to basically fudge it around here to do increases or decreases. So you carry on. So you're going to do, this next one is an increase, yarn over, and then in. So that's an increase. In the next 2, you're going to put 1 double crochet, so 1 in there, go to the next one and put 1 in there, and then you'll increase back into the same place there, and you're going to carry on that pattern all the way around, and I'll come back round here and show you how to, well, I call it fudging or making good. Okay, so I'll see you in a minute. Three, 4, 5. So as I was going round, I was counting in multiples of 8, and that's 5, but I've only got 2 stitches left. So I'm going to fudge it a little bit and go 6, 7, and 8. So I'll show you exactly what I've done to get my multiples of 8. So I did the increase here, single, single, increase. Then I did another increase there, and then a single to make sure, so I had 2 increases together to make sure that I had my 8. You may need to do something like that, that's absolutely fine. And then I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, slip stitch here. So this is the base of your decorative masonry jar cover done. And as I said, mine isn't lying flat. but that's perfect. That's exactly what I want, because it's going to go over my square-sided masonry jar quite happily. This one is rounded, but you can't tell because of the square-sided masonry jar. So now we get to the exciting bit. Now is the body. So for this, we're going to change stitches slightly, and we're going to be working in triples. Okay, so first thing that we need to do is chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and just for this round we're going to do 1 double crochet in each of the previous round, which will give us a good base to do the lace pattern. So in every stitch around, I'm just going to put 1 double crochet. Like so. So you go ahead and do that, please, and I'll join you back round here. Again, if you don't know if you did do multiples of 8 on the previous round, this is a really good time to do it. If you need to increase, just do a simple increase like we've been doing in the previous round. We're putting 2 double crochets in the same place, and I will see you back around here. So I've come all the way around, and now I'm going to slip stitch in here, and I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now the chain 3 counted as a double crochet, the chain 4 counts as a triple crochet. So we're going to skip 3 stitches, and then we're going to make our cluster, and the clusters stay the same right the way throughout the pattern. So we're going to skip 3, so that's 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to put a triple into this stitch here. So to do a triple, you go yarn over once, yarn over twice, into that stitch, catch your yarn up, and then yarn over and take off 2, yarn over, take off 2, yarn over and take off 2. So each time you yarn over, you're taking off 2 of the loops on your hook. So again, into exactly the same stitch, yarn over twice, catch your loop up, yarn over, take off 2, yarn over, take off 2, yarn over and take off 2. So it should start to look a little like that. Another treble, so that's yarn over twice, so you should have 3 treble stitches all in the same place. Now we're going to chain 1 and do 3 more trebles into this stitch here. So yarn over twice, catch your loop, and then bring off 2, bring off 2, bring off 2. And then the last one, like so. So that is your cluster. Your cluster is 3 triple crochets, 1 chain, and then 3 triple crochets all into the same space. So now we're going to skip 3 again, 1, 2 and 3, and then we're going to go into the next stitch for 1 triple crochet. So you have your bars coming up, your cluster, and then another bar. So that's how the pattern goes. A bar, a cluster, a bar. and skipping the stitches in between. So skip 1, 2 and 3, and then we're going to do a cluster in this stitch here. So we're going to do 3 triple crochets, chain 1 and then 3 triple crochets. So this is our third one. And then chain 1. And then back into the same place for our last 3 triple crochets to finish this cluster. Going to take out some more yarn. So I've got 3, chain 1, 1, 2. Oh, need to do one more in this space here. Skip 1, 2 and 3 and then into the fourth one for our 1 triple crochet. I don't know if the camera is picking up the noise, but it's absolutely hammering it down outside my window. I love that noise. So sorry, with 1, 2, 3, and then into this one for our cluster. Doing triple crochets all the way. So that's 1, 2 and 3, and then we're going to chain 1 and then 3 more, all in the same place. That's 1, 2, 3. So that's how you're going to do it all the way around, skipping the 3 stitches and going into the fourth. Cluster, bar, cluster, bar, cluster. So this next one is a bar. So skip 1, 2, 1, 2 and 3, and then into this fourth one for the bar. And we're going to go all the way around, and I will join you back at the beginning where we'll start the next row. Okay, so I've just finished my last cluster. I've got my correct amount of stitches that I need to skip, and then I've got this bar here. So where we counted 3 before we did our slip stitch in these rounds here, we now need to count the 4th chain and slip stitch into there. So we go 1, 2, 3, and into the top one for our slip stitch. And that completes that round. So now we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Again, that counts as our treble. This time we want to do our clusters into this space here, which is our chain 1 gap. So we have our 3 trebles, our chain 1, and then our 3 trebles. So yarn over twice, straight into this big gap here for our cluster. And that's 3. Chain 1. Even though we're on the next round up, we still need to keep our clusters in exactly the same pattern as what we did. Sorry, I'm just taking out more yarn. Move that way. So our clusters are 3 triples, chain 1 and then 3 triples. And the way we're doing this round is now exactly the same as all the following rounds that we do regarding the chain 4 and then coming into the chain 1 gap for the cluster. So now we need to come to our bar here. Again, we're going to do a treble, and we're going to come into the top of the stitch, not these 2 loops here, the actual stitch itself. So I'm going to see if my camera will pick that up. It's this part here of the top of the stitch. So straight in there. You may need to give your hook a bit of a wibble. Let me show you now what that's done. So it makes the bar continue up in a straight line. I did not do it with this one, and if you look at the bar, just the bar section, it kind of goes here and then over here and then over here. If I carried on doing this, the next one would be over here and the bars wouldn't be in a lovely straight line. Although I'm really pleased with this effect, I really want the bar to just go in a straight line like that. So by putting this triple into the actual stitch, hopefully the bar will go straight up, like so. So now we come into our cluster. So again, into this huge gap here, which is our chain 1 space, we do our next cluster of 3 trebles, chain 1, and then 3 trebles. That's 2, and 3, chain 1, and then 3 more back into the same place. So it's just a repetitive pattern now, going all the way around until this measures to the size of your mason jar. And then off we go again into the actual bar, which is in here. Push it through and do our treble. So let's see what that looks like on my jar. And yeah, that bar now is going really nice and straight. I like that a lot, actually. I might use that technique again. So keep going all the way around and I will join you back at the start of our round. Have fun! So I've just completed my last cluster and I'm going to slip stitch to the top of that 4th chain. I'm sorry, I have a bit of a frog in my throat. Let's put it on our jars and see what they look like. So that circle right in the middle of my jar. I'm so sorry. So I'm really pleased with the way that this bar is now looking up here. So what we need to do is just carry on going until the side is as high as we want it to go. And then when I come back, I'll show you how to do this. See you in a minute after I've had a drink. So we've come all the way around and we're going to slip stitch into the top there, and then we're going to chain 1, 2, 3 and 4. Although we're not doing any more rounds because I'm happy, I've measured it on my mason jar and I'm not going to do any more rounds of the clusters. We're going to need to finish the edge off to give it this nice attractive frilly edge along the edge. Now you don't have to do this. You can just finish off where you are right now. But I would like to show you how to do this edge. If you are finishing off now, don't do this chain here. simply do the slip stitch, snip the ends off, and then weave them in. So we've chained 1, 2, 3 and 4, and now we're going to single crochet into this whole gap here. So we have one loop on our hook, grab up a loop, yarn over and bring through 1 and 2, chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And remember how we've been going into the actual bar of our triple crochet. This time we're going to go into the top, which is these 2 loops here. And again, single crochet, chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and single crochet into the chain 1 gap. And we're going to do this repetitive pattern all the way around. Into the top of our triple crochet, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then single crochet into the chain 1 space, 1, 2, 3 and 4, single crochet to the top of our bar of our triple crochet, 1, 2, 3 and 4, single crochet, chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, into the top of our triple crochet, and chain 4, 2, 3 and 4, and then into the cluster for the single crochet, and then off we go again, 3 and 4, and into the top of the bar here. Let's just see where we are on our round. Yeah, there we are. So we're going to slip stitch to the bottom of our chain this time. So these are our 4 chain gaps, what we call the 4 chain gap, what we just made there. I'm so sorry. Into each of this 4 chain, we're going to single crochet 6 into every single one. So hook into the big hole, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Come to the next 4 chain space and single crochet 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and into the next 4 chain space. Make sure you are going into the 4 chain space and you don't accidentally go in any of these here. Trust me, done it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and we're just going to keep going round until we get to the beginning, and I'll see you then. So here I am, I've just done my last 6, and I'm going to slip stitch to the first single crochet that we made, like so. And that is your mason jar cover done. Sorry, that was a bit of a slam, wasn't it? That is your mason jar cover all done. Now with this one, I haven't made the loop to hang it from a tree. With this one, I'm going to show you how to do that. So you've just slip stitched, and now we're going to chain a lot. I'm not going to count, I'm just going to keep chaining. Now you want this chain to be long enough that you can hang your mason jar from a tree, but not get hot if you're using it for a candle holder, but not, the yarn to not get hot, that it will burn and the whole thing will drop to the floor. So when you make your chain, please bear that in mind, that you do want it long enough to A, get over the branch or whatever it is you're hanging it off, but that B, it's also high enough that it's not going to get hot from the heat of the candle flame. I'm so sorry about my tickly cough. So let's just see how big that is. And I don't think it's big enough yet. I don't think it's long enough yet. So I'm going to keep going for a few more. And I'm just going to keep going until I'm happy that the size of my chain is where I want it to be. And these do look beautiful when they're all lit up. So let's have a look now. Yeah, I'm happy with the size of that chain. So now I come across to the opposite side of where the chain comes from. So that's why I've laid it flat, so I can see where the opposite side is. And into this crease here, I'm going to slip stitch. And that will make my chain secure for when I'm hanging my glass masonry jar. So now I'm going to just simply cut this end off, pull it through my work, and tighten up really tightly. Now I have this loose end here. I'm just going to weave it into my work to just neaten it off. So I have the end. I'm just going to bring my needle through the top of these single crochets. Doesn't have to go far. And then just snip that end off. As near to your work as you dare without actually cutting your work. So that is your mason jar with hanging handle completed. Like so. Perfect for any summer or camping trip. Thank you so much for watching Create Crochet. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you on Facebook. Thank you. Bye!